First, Prime Video brought us a silly action comedy that starred John Cena and Idris Elba. Now we've got another one starring Alan Ritchson and Kevin James. Does Playdate capture a similar exciting and fun vibe? When recently unemployed accountant Brian agrees to a playdate with charismatic stay-at-home dad Jeff and their sons, he expects an afternoon of small talk and football tossing. Instead, he's thrust into a chaotic scramble to stay alive as a ruthless team of mercenaries pursues them. So you have to manage expectations going into this. If you're expecting top-notch writing, a polished and deep plot, and zero continuity errors, this is not the film for you. If, though, you're in the mood for an action comedy that knows exactly what it is and encourages its leads to fully lean into the ridiculousness, Playdate, it's an awesomely fun ride. Just like with Heads of State, here we have two actors who embrace the absurdity and just throw abandon to the wind so that they can create action-filled laughs while also featuring some heart. Alan Ritchson, he's basically Jack Reacher here with one massive difference. He's ridiculously silly. He's still that tough guy one-man army, but one who is having an absolute blast creating havoc and destruction everywhere he goes. And it's so great to watch this giant man-child driving around, leaving just carnage in his wake, all while giggling and having an ear-to-ear smile. And then with Kevin James, he's charming as ever, playing the unassuming and overcompensating everyman who is intimidated and sometimes awestruck by his new hyperactive, hulking friend. James showcases so much heart in his character, and while he isn't a fighting machine, the contrast with Ritchson makes for an endearing and hilarious odd couple. You have to expect going in that the story's going to be simple and uncomplicated, allowing the plot to just focus on action, stunts, and then laughably far-fetched scenarios that maximize car chases, close-quarter battles, and general mayhem. Surprisingly, the stunts are filled with some energy and excitement, taking just about every situation to the extreme so they can exaggerate the amount of destruction. And then in addition to Ritchson and James, there are some supporting roles from Sarah Chalk, Alan Tudyk, Stephen Root, Hiro Kanagawa, and Isla Fisher. Now, each of them understands the assignment, and they don't shy away from going just full tilt unhinged as is necessary. Now, probably the funniest and most insane character comes from Isla Fisher. There's a sequence with her driving in her minivan that just had me laughing out loud multiple times. The banter, it's childish and stupid, and it is exactly what's called for in the moment. And that's pretty much true throughout the entire movie. There's snark, sarcasm, along with tons of small gag moments that are witty and then perfectly timed. Even from Ritchson, who was kind of a surprise when it came to the comedy angle. Now, I know he can do action just thanks to his recurring role as Jack Reacher. Here, though, he's way more funny than I expected. And another great surprise was watching the two younger actors complement the man-child duo. Banks Pierce and Benjamin Pejak play the sons of Ritchson and James, and they have distinctly different personalities, but they also work to mimic what we want to see from the two adults. Now, the relationship between Pierce and Ritchson, it's unhinged in the best way. While it's highly unbelievable, it's also incredibly entertaining to watch them interact in a mostly dysfunctional manner. When they roughhouse, it's crazed and manic, mixing extreme violence with comedic choreography to build sequences that are right in line with the rest of the zaniness of the story. Now, of course, you're going to have to suspend all disbelief for this movie to work, but I think because of how much enjoyment the characters create, it's hard not to get sucked into this make-believe world of cloak and dagger and high-speed pursuits. The trajectory for all this, it's predictable, and it's telegraphed way in advance. And while this would be troublesome within an action film that's also serious, the obviousness, it doesn't get in the way here. In fact, it actually removes complications so that we can fully invest in the stupidity and then go for the frenzied adventure that the narrative has invited us on. There are going to be many things within this that make your eyes roll, but that's also the charm of the movie. The special effects, they're sometimes good, and many times they make no sense, other than just to create a thin excuse to blow something up or wreck a vehicle. Now, I didn't expect much from this, but I walked away having a blast. There's nothing deep or highbrow about the movie, but it delivers on exactly what's promised. A rambunctious and harried buddy comedy filled with absurd action, exciting stunts, and then a lot of laugh-out-loud dialogue. Alan Ritchson and Kevin James, they're perfectly mismatched to create an endearing and heartwarming duo who, despite all the dysfunction, build a dynamic and charismatic pairing that's the perfect mix of dumb and fun. If Prime Video wants to keep pumping out these types of action comedies that just fully embrace ridiculousness like Heads of State and now Playdate, I'm going to be there for them every single time. There's no sexual nudity, ton of profanity, almost nonstop violence. I give Playdate 3.5 out of 5 couches. This was an excellent surprise. So if you are in need of something easy and lighthearted, give this one a go. All right, what are some other action comedies that you just love to watch? Can't wait to see your recommendations in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.